Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be giving you my top 8 makeup tips for photography. My friend Christina Lawrence, who is an amazing photographer, has asked me to make this video so that she can use it to advise her clients on what the best makeup to wear for their photography sessions are. Now, just a quick disclaimer, this is all information that I have researched myself and have found to work, and also that various photographers that I've asked have put their opinions towards as well. Obviously, each individual photographer and or makeup artist will have their own opinions on what looks best on camera, so it is definitely a good idea to discuss what you want from your photographs with them first. This information is also great for yearbook photos or for prom or for weddings, anything where you're going to have a number of photographs taken. I've got your back. Well, your face. You know what I mean. Okay, so tip number 1. Unless you are having your photos taken outside in daylight, I would strongly suggest avoiding products that contain SPF or sun protection. This is because these formulas actually contain an ingredient that reflects the light away from the skin. That's how they work. They take the sun's rays and they bounce them away from the skin again so that it doesn't burn. When you use these products in front of flash photography, you might find that the skin will start to look extra shiny or greasy, extra highlighted in places that you don't really want highlighted. It can also make you go full Voldemort and you can lose your nose completely, and that's definitely not something that is very flattering to your photographs. The same also applies to products that state that they are illuminating or radiant or even HD powders now. This is because, again, they contain something in them, an ingredient in the formula that bounces the light back away from them to make a more radiant and illuminated effect. Now, this is absolutely beautiful in real life, it's absolutely beautiful on film, but with camera flash photography it can tend to look a little bit white out and you get a lot more of that flashback that we don't really want. So it's definitely best to avoid them if at all possible. Tip number 2. If you're being photographed for a long period of time, so in the case of a model doing a long photo shoot, or if it's your wedding and you're being photographed throughout the day, I would strongly suggest using a makeup primer underneath your foundation. Obviously you should use a primer that suits your skin and suits your skin type. So for example, I have quite oily combination skin, so I use an oil control primer. But as a general rule, I would recommend getting a primer that contains the ingredient glycerin. Now, you can find this easily on the back of any primer products on the ingredients list. Glycerin gives a slightly tacky surface to the skin, which gives the foundation something good and strong to hold on to throughout the day. Now, this will reduce creasing, it will reduce any of the foundation from coming off prematurely, and it will also reduce any foundation collecting in your smile lines, for example. Tip number 3. As a general rule, from a photographer's point of view, a less is more approach to makeup is usually preferred. Why not try a light or medium coverage foundation instead of a fuller coverage? If you have any blemishes that you prefer to cover up, you can do this with concealer and then blend in a lighter coverage foundation over the rest of the face to give that nice overall even skin tone. This will also reduce the risk of the skin looking extra dry or aging the skin slightly. Because you've got a lighter coverage on, it's less likely to collect or pick up any dry patches on the skin. Tip number 4. Speaking of aging or drying out the skin, it's always a good idea to limit the amount of layers of makeup that you apply to the skin. Now, I'm not talking about applying 40 layers of foundation. What I mean is, you've got your primer and then you've got a layer of foundation, and then you might want to contour, and then you've got your powder setting, and then you might want to put some blush and highlight on. All of these layers count as a layer of makeup on the skin, and when brought all together it just gives a really thick application onto the skin, which then again will make the skin look drier or extra greasy or age the skin. Applying too many layers can actually make the skin look quite uneven, and also in some cases it might also make the skin look a bit dirty, so it is best to limit the amount of layers that you apply as much as possible. Tip number 5. It's also worth remembering that makeup is not gender specific. If you're a guy and you wake up on the morning of your wedding, or the morning of your yearbook photos, or the morning where you're having some photos taken of you and you've got a massive zit on the side of your face, you don't have to keep a record of that zit forever. It's very simple to conceal a blemish without it looking like you've got a ton of makeup on. Simply take a little bit of concealer that matches your natural skin tone, dab it over the zit, and then just around the edges of where you've dabbed it, blend that into the rest of the skin. And as long as it's a shade that matches your natural skin tone, nobody will be able to immediately see that there's a zit there, nobody will be able to immediately see that there's makeup there, and it will make the photographer's job a lot easier than having to Photoshop or edit out a zit out of your pictures. Tip number 6. If you find that your eyebrows are getting a little bit lost in flash photography, it might be worth investing in a brow powder product or a matte eyeshadow that matches the hair's natural colour. Gently fill in any sparse areas of the brow without trying to alter the shape of the brows at all. Keep it nice and natural, and then give them a quick brush through. Using this powder product will help define the brows without them looking painted on, and you shouldn't have a problem from there on when you're having your flash photography pictures taken. Tip number 7. Remember that makeup trends are ever changing. In the early 2000s, the average woman on the street would have had no idea where to start with contouring, and in the 1980s you were no one unless you had a mullet or back-combed hair. What I'm trying to say is that fashion changes all the time, so if you want to keep your photos timelessly beautiful, I would very much recommend a natural approach to your makeup. This way you're less likely to look back at your pictures in a few years and cringe. I know I've got a lot of embarrassing photographs from makeup trends from ages ago and that I just really regret now, and I think if anyone can be saved from that fate, I think it's definitely worth shouting from the rooftops. Just keep it natural. Tip number 8. When it comes to eye makeup and lips, it really is a matter of context. This is one of the main things that you might want to talk to your photographer about. For example, if you're having school pictures taken, you might want to keep it really fresh and really natural looking, whereas if you are a model, you might want to do a wide variation of different makeup looks to cover all of the different bases from natural to avant-garde. And in the same way, a beautiful smoky sexy eye is not going to go down too well on your new mother and baby photos. Do you get what I mean? It's all about thinking about why you're having the photos taken beforehand and applying the makeup accordingly. Ultimately, the main thing is to have fun and be sure to keep your natural beauty shining through. Make sure that they are of your personality and make sure that you're going to be happy with them for years to come. Hopefully you found these tips helpful, guys. I'd love to see some photographs of you if you use any of these tips. Make sure you tag me in the pictures on Instagram. I'll put my username up here. And I really would recommend checking out Christina Lawrence Photography on Facebook. The link will be in the description box below. You can also catch me on any other social media with the same username here, AmyPumpkin13, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye guys.
Oh look, it's Poppy. Hello Poppy. Hello Poppy.
Oh,